Hello there, adventurers, and welcome to Wally DM. Today our adventuring party needs to retrieve an item from the Ethereal Plane of existence. Now, this is stepping way outside of my comfort zone as a DM or GM, because I really can't wrap my head around the inner and outer planes of existence. So I've really never incorporated them into my game before. But today I'm going to give it a try, and I might not have the rules down all the way, but just go with me on this one. Today is the puzzle of the Ethereal Wizard. Okay, this puzzle is going to take just a little bit of backstory, and this is how I'm going to run it. And as the DM or GM, of course, you can make up your own backstory or change it as you see fit. But here we go. The PCs in my previous gaming session will have found out that there's an item that they need to complete their quest. And this item is in the hands of an old wizard that lives in the next town over. So they have arrived to this town, and they are looking for this wizard, and they're pointed in the direction of this tavern. Evidently, this old wizard had purchased this tavern and had the business run by the bartender down in the main floor level of the tavern, and the wizard had the entire upstairs, and that is where he lived. So when our PCs get here, they can ask for the wizard, and the bartender says, yeah, I know him really well. He's a good friend of mine, but he disappeared probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I haven't seen him. And as the PCs talk to the bartender and try to gain his trust, he'll release a little bit more information. The bartender can be like, yeah, he was starting to become very, very paranoid. He started hiding his possessions in different areas throughout town and outside of town, and he was always scribbling and writing in his journal. In fact, I think he even had a treasure map that detailed where he hid his items and things, and he stuffed that inside of his journal. But about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the old man disappeared, and I haven't seen him since. And he's like, and then something else that was really weird happened. He's like, let me show you. So now that the PCs have the trust of the bartender, and they can do a sense motive check on him. This is a really good friend of the wizard. We're going to say he's neutral good, so he's going to be a genuine barkeep. Now the bartender will show him the library first and explain to him that this is where the wizard did a lot of studying and a lot of his work. He did a lot of research, and this table here is where his journal sat. His journal always sat there, and that was where he would read and write in it. What is really, and of course the other things in this room is that we have 2 bookshelves over here, and they're just lined with ordinary books and that a wizard would have. The bartender said what else is really strange is that he used to have a chair that sat right here, and this chair is gone. So the old wizard, when he was done writing in his journal or plotting out his treasure map, he would sit in this chair and read some books and do some more studying. The bartender will then take him over to the lounge. And the bartender also tells him, too, this is where the old man would like to come and sit and relax. And in fact, he would hire jesters to come in and do juggling acts, or to tell him jokes, or do puppet shows, or to entertain him. So he would hire somebody to come in. And what is weird about this room is also he had a chair that sat right here that he would sit in the chair and sit there and laugh and have a good time as the jester would entertain him. But since the old man disappeared, this chair is also gone. So that'll pretty much exhaust the knowledge that the bartender has. I mean, he's still running the business and everything, and of course he's upset about the disappearance of the old man. They were friends and stuff like that, but he is keeping the business going and stuff like that. Now the barkeep will probably then advise the players. He'll be like, the old man has an apprentice, and the 2 of them had been working on a project. Now, I didn't really ask any questions, but they spent a lot of time, a lot of hours on this project. So if I were you, I would probably go find this apprentice. And last time I seen him, he was at such and such. So now the players need to go find the apprentice, and through the apprentice. And again, we'll make it another genuine character, you know, maybe a neutral good or something like that, someone that genuinely cared about the wizard. And he'll be like, yeah, I believe that, you know, and again, he'll tell the same story that the wizard, you know, he was getting really paranoid and he was hiding his items and writing in his journal all the time, and he mapped out where he hid his stuff and on his treasure map inside of his journal. But we were working on traveling to the Ethereal Plane, and he says, I think the old man might have done it, and I think that he may be in the Ethereal Plane. So he'll also then instruct the player characters that in order to see, you know, and maybe the PCs already know this through a knowledge check, but in order to see objects or things or people on the ethereal plane, they need to have true seeing, or maybe see invisible or something like that. So in my campaign or my game session, when I run this puzzle, I'm going to have the PCs or the apprentice be like, well, I know an old lady or whatever else that has a bunch of potions and stuff like that, and she may have a way for you to obtain some potions of true seeing. So in order to solve the puzzle, the PCs are going to have to talk to the barkeep, then they're going to have to find the apprentice, and the apprentice is going to have to point them in the direction of how to obtain potions of true seeing. And then once they obtain the true seeing potions, they can go back to the inn or back to the bar, go back upstairs, drink the potions, and then solve the puzzle. So let's continue on. Now then, our party members have drank their true seeing potions, and now it's time for them to come upstairs and take a look around. And when they do, they're going to come up into the wizard's library, and they're going to see some really crazy shit. So they come into the library, and seated over here along the wall in his chair is the wizard. And he is ghost-like because he is on the ethereal plane. And when the PCs enter the room, he looks over at them and acknowledges and sees them and knows that they're there, and also realizes that they can see him. While they are in this room, the wizard does nothing but stare straight forward. He acknowledges that the party members came in, and then he turns and focuses his attention to the table. Now, if the party members come over to the table and look at it, they can see his journal sitting there on the table. But it is on the ethereal plane at the moment. It is ghost-like, and it is gray, and it is sitting on the table, and they cannot interact with it. They can, however, make out some writing on the front of it. And the writing says, as long as my eyes are on my journal, you will not have it. So while the players are in the library, the wizard will continually be staring pretty much right through the party members and staring at his book on the ethereal plane, and there's no way for them to grab this journal or to interact with either one. Now if they come over here to the lounge, they're going to see the same thing. The wizard is going to be on the ethereal plane sitting in his chair, and he will notice the party members as soon as they come in. Once again, he will acknowledge that they can see him and he can see them. And while they're in the lounge, if they do any looking around, he'll just be watching them the entire time. And maybe even give a couple, a couple sighs every once in a while. Just look bored. So, with this being presented, how do we solve the puzzle? Okay, to solve the puzzle, we need to remember the clue on the journal. As long as my eyes are on my journal, you will not get it, or whatever. Now then, to solve the puzzle, the players come back over here. Again, the wizard will be sitting here staring at them. If they come back over here again, the wizard will be sitting here staring at them. They come back over here, the wizard is here. So the players cannot get the journal because on the front of it, it tells them, as long as I have my eyes on my journal, you will not have it. The only way to solve this is for the party members to leave this room, making it empty. At least one or two of them come over into the lounge, get the wizard's attention. Now, while they have his attention, he's going to want to be entertained. So they either need to tell him some jokes, do some juggling, put on a puppet show, do something to entertain him. when the old wizard starts to laugh and starts to have a good time, he's going to forget about his journal, and that is when one of the other characters can sneak into the library, and the journal will be back on the prime material plane. They can grab the journal and get out, and that solves the puzzle. Now, if the two party members over here fail to entertain the wizard, and this other PC comes over here, the wizard will very quickly flash back into the library. So it is very important for the PCs that are entertaining the wizard to succeed on that, to get him to laugh, to get him to forget about the journal. And it is also very important for the PC over here to perform a good stealth check to get the journal without the old man wizard knowing it. So that's the puzzle of the Ethereal Wizard. And again, pretty much up to the Dungeon Master or the Game Master, how the party members come about realizing that the wizard has gone to the Ethereal Plane, and how they obtain the methods that they can see into the Ethereal Plane. Again, I chose the potion form, so once it wears off, then my party members don't have a powerful magic item in their possession, so I went the potion route. But again, the main part of the puzzle is, as long as that wizard is staring at the journal is going to stay in the Ethereal Plane. So the party members need to entertain the wizard over in the lounge area, like the jester used to do. And once they have the wizard entertained, they have the one other PC do a stealth check, sneak over back into the library, and since the wizard's over here being entertained, it breaks the spell on the journal. The journal is temporarily in the material plane, and as long as he can get that journal out of there before the wizard switches back into the library, then they have succeeded and solved the puzzle. So that's it. That's all I have for you. What did you think? Is it something that you can use in one of your gaming sessions? Let me know your thoughts and comments. And please be sure to like and subscribe, and share the video with your friends. And until next time, on to the next.